Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Stephanie from Lumeria Star, and today what we're going to do is kind of take a look and reflect back on all of the decks I worked with in September for my Lumeria Star Tarot Edit, which is a monthly tarot tag challenge I created a couple of years ago. Actually, I've been doing this for quite a while, and basically it's just a way to kind of decide what decks you want to use for the month, kind of like curate a small selection. I usually do around 8 decks a month roughly. Those are the only decks I'm going to use, and it's just really a nice way to constantly rotate your decks, especially if you're like me who have quite a bit, quite a few decks in their collection, and it's a nice way to make sure you're, using all of them, spending time with them, really getting to know them. So we're going to take a look at my September decks that I worked with in September 2022, what worked, what didn't, what I loved, what I maybe didn't. So let's get started. Okay, so the first deck I want to take a look at is the Sassaribito Tarot by Stasia Burrington. So this deck, I do not know why it took me so long to get this. I really don't. I was always drawn to the artwork, and sorry if you can hear my dog barking. I can hear her. I don't know if you guys can hear her on your end, so if you do, I apologize. She's very, very cooped up in the house because even though I live in New Jersey, we're definitely getting effects of the hurricane down in Florida. So it's been raining for days and she will not go out to pee in the rain or go for walks, obviously. So she's going like stir crazy. Anyway, let's talk about the Sassaribito Tarot. This deck, oh my gosh. Like I said, I can't believe I didn't get this sooner. Even though I was always drawn to the artwork, I was just like, oh, I don't know if I need that. Wow, is all I have to say. These are the gorgeous backs. And I did get the matte version, which is probably actually, now that I'm kind of talking about this out loud, I think that's why I didn't get it, because I wasn't really digging the glossy finish of the original edition. So this is the matte finish. It does have the shiny gold edging. So this deck, oh my goodness, I don't know what to say other than it is such a truth teller for me. Every time I used it, the reading was spot on, but like to my core spot on. Like I would pull a couple cards, whether it was like intuitive or maybe I was using a spread, and it hit to my core. It spoke to my soul. I ended up with pages worth of, writing in my journal based off of these cards. It feels, what are the words I'm trying to use? Like, it's not an aggressive deck by any means. And it's not a gentle deck either. It's just truthful. It's truthful, and I feel like it delivers those truthful messages with tact. Like some decks are just like punch you in the face. I don't think this is a punch you in the face deck, but it's also not going to sugarcoat it and be gentle and like fluffy about the message. It's just like, yeah, here's your message. Very assertive. That's what I would say. It says it in a way that's not abrasive, but it says, like, it's a deck that's like, I said what I said. I just, oh my gosh, I was just so obsessed with using this deck. First of all, look at this Judgment card. Like, I think Stasia Burrington, a lot of her depictions of the cards have like a unique twist to it, and I really, really enjoyed the guidebook, what she had to say. So I'm gonna say it, this is now in my top 10 decks ever. Like, now that I have this has to be with me at all times. This is a deck that I'm probably not gonna put away. This is the deck that I'm gonna work with probably all year. This is like an all year rounder. Yeah, it's like an I said what I said deck. And I love it. I love it so much. It's really evocative. It does tend to bring out a lot of emotion in me. Not in a scary way. It's just like, it's what needs to be done. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but man, is this deck so good. I love this 8 of Cups so much. I love this 9 of Cups so much. That is so gorgeous. Love my Queen of Wands, which is my personal like significator court card. I also really enjoy the 10 of Cups right up in the book, and this Empress is literally everything. I love, so for those of you who don't know, the Empress is my life purpose card. I work really deeply with her, and ironically, a lot of the decks that I have, I don't love the Empress card. It's kind of like a shame, but this Empress card is literally everything. It's what I picture the Empress to be, so that makes this extra special. So for that, all of that being said, this deck was such a win for September. It has easily made it into my top 10 decks ever, which by the way, I probably need to redo that video. I think I did that in the beginning of this year or maybe even last year. But this, I'm so happy. I bought this for myself for my birthday this year. And yeah, I must have just like intuitively known that this is going to be an important deck, and maybe it came in at the right time. So this is such a win. And I know a lot of you are familiar with this deck in the tarot community, and rightfully so. So this is the Stasia Burrington Tarot. Okay, let me take a sip of my tea. I'm drinking this like lovely like autumn herbal tea. So good. Okay, so the next deck I wanted to take a look at, which paired beautifully with the Stasia Burrington, is the Outgrow Yourself Oracle. This is by Octa Spaman Oracle and Tarot. So what's cool with this deck is it is a kind of like a dual deck, so it can be used as a tarot or it could be used just as an oracle. So these are the backs. It's not edged or gilded or anything, which I would probably do in, I don't know, do I want to do it in black, or maybe I want to do it in a color? We'll see. But this is, if you use it as a tarot, it is Thoth based, which I don't really read Thoth, so I found myself really reading this more as an oracle, because each card has an oracle message, and then it does have the correspondence on the bottom, and I would kind of take that into consideration when I was using it. But these are just beautiful. I love the stark black backgrounds. I love that the figures, mostly, I think these are mostly female presenting figures in this deck. They feel so wild and feral. It definitely gives that outgrowing yourself vibe, like women who, you know, refuse to be, you know, put in a box, women who refuse to, you know, follow the rules or, you know, stay within the confines of patriarchal society. Like, these are feral and free, wild women, and I am so here for that energy. This is another deck that I am wildly loving right now. The key phrases are amazing. So as I said, I'm using this one primarily as an oracle, but you absolutely could use it as a tarot because it does have the 78 card structure. The only problem for me, so like here, this one we see the keyword or key phrase harvest and manifest, which is a great key phrase. This is the Knight of Discs, so obviously you can use it as such, but I'm not familiar with Thoth keywords, so this one's just prudence. So like, I don't necessarily know what that is. This one's the universe, so we've got that. Indolence. So like, I don't know what suit that is, but if you practice or read Thoth, that would probably be a lot easier. But like I said, I think this works amazing as an oracle. It looks gorgeous with the Sasarai Bito. They have the artwork is completely different, but they have a similar energy that I think played really well together. So this is another deck that I don't think will be tucked away for long. I think this one's got to stay out. And, you know, I don't know if is this in the top 10? That's a bold statement. I'm really loving it. It might be. I think I need more time with it, but it might be. So this one, again, will not be tucked away for long. And this was such a win. This was such a win. So this is the Outgrow Yourself Oracle and Tarot. Love, love. Okay. So the next deck I worked with is the Stunning Tarot. This, I believe, is a first edition deck. This is by Yonasa Yas, or however you pronounce that. I feel like no one really knows the art, her or their, I don't know their pronouns. Their artwork is stunning, which, as you know, the Stunning Tarot already says. So this deck, these are the backs, not edged or gilded or anything. This artwork is amazing. The color palette is bright, it's vivid, it's in your face. They use a limited color palette, so the wands are all these purple colors, and it's kind of this witchy scene. It really reminds me of like Witches in the Woods, or like the movie The Witch. That's kind of the vibe I get. The suit of swords is the color red, which is interesting. I don't think of that color with air. And it's mermaids, again, which is super interesting. The pentacles are a yellow color, and it's kind of like ancient Egypt. Queen of Cups here. Actually, wait a minute. I thought maybe cups are red too. Cups are like, yeah. So we got Queen of Cups. And again, the swords are mermaids, which again, you wouldn't think that. So it's just a very interesting take. I did hear there is a PDF guidebook online, which I haven't looked at, but I really should, because this deck sometimes can feel a little challenging, but I kind of give it passes because the artwork is just so evocative and gorgeous. I really feel like Yonasa, their artwork is just, it's really special. It just feels very evocative. So this was super fun to work with. I've actually had this for quite a while. I bought it secondhand from a fellow tarot Instagrammer a couple years ago. And I'm the kind of person who will buy a deck because I know it's meant to be with me. But if I'm not ready for it, I let it sit there. I'm just like, nope, I'm not ready for you yet. And I finally felt ready, and it was so great. So the time was right. So as I said, this is the first edition, which I don't think is available anymore. I think the current edition that's available is maybe the third, which some of the artwork has changed. You could probably find videos online comparing the different editions. Yeah, it's just great. Look at this, like the witchy suit of the wands is so good. It's so good. It's so good. So this deck is just a beauty. Look at these. Literally so good. So yeah, that is, just look at the limited color palette, but look how beautiful they look together. So that is the Stunning Tarot by Yonasa Yas. And that was a huge win. I'm so glad I picked this up. It was meant to be. And, you know, I know the right time to work with decks. I've been sitting on this one for quite a while. So that one's amazing. Okay, so So the next one I'd like to look at is in just this plain black pouch because the box is packed away, and that is my lovely Zombie Tarot. So this is a fan favorite. You guys are probably familiar with this. Mass market. I did edge this in a blood red, which I think gives it a really awesome look to it. So the Zombie Tarot is exactly that. This is a zombie apocalypse that kind of takes place, which looks like the 1950s, 1960s. Like, to me, it's like the Mad Men era, which I love Mad Men. This deck is fun, it's cheeky. It's a nice deck easing our way into spooky season. And I use this a handful of times. I do love this deck. I do love this Devil card. It is so clever, the cigarette machine. But I didn't reach for it a lot, and I think that's because I was so enamored with the other decks I've just shown. So this wasn't like not a win. I didn't gravitate to it as much. Just use it a handful of times, but really the other decks were kind of stealing the show for the month of September. But you know, this deck was gifted to me by a friend. I love it so much. And I'm not going to go through all of these. The guidebook is so great, so I usually keep it with me in the bag. It kind of looks like an old, what's it called? So the original box looks like a box of ammo, like you're buying ammo for the zombie apocalypse. And let's see here. You could see the back looks like, it looks like old advertisements, and it's like aged paper, which is so cool. So that just really adds to the look of the deck. So this deck I love so much, but it just wasn't something I was super drawn to for the month of September. So that is the Zombie Tarot. Highly suggest. It's mass market. It's pretty affordable if you are even remotely interested. So let's take another sip of my tea. Okay, so another deck I was using for the month of September is my Serpent Fire Tarot. This is by Devaney Wolf, and I love this deck. I've had this deck for quite a while. This is actually, let's see here. These are the backs. I think this is like the 7th edition. So these are her borderless cards. I love this Empress card with Elizabeth Taylor's Cleopatra. So these cards are vivid, vibrant. They've got this like otherworldly but retro futuristic landscapes. I love this deck so much. This one can be a little harsh too. Definitely a truth teller, but it usually delivers its messages with a little like, ooh. To me, they give a little bit of a sting. But I just wasn't super drawn to this one as much for the month of September either. Like I said, I had just had so many decks that I was enjoying more, but this one isn't going anywhere. I love this deck so much. I think it was just competing with new decks. It was competing with new decks, and this one got a little bit neglected this month, which is fine. But I've used this a lot over the years. You can see like a lot, I don't know if you can see that, a lot of my cards are chipping because I've used this so much. This is probably one of my favorite Magician cards. I really like that depiction. This Death card, also stunning. So yeah, this one, also really love that Fool card. I love this deck, but you know, I didn't use it that much, and that's okay. I think that's why, you know, variety is the spice of life. So I know I will spend more time with this deck. I've spent a lot of time with this deck already. And yeah, oops. And that is my Serpent Fire Tarot. Okay, so a few more. Let's see here. So this one was like a super random one that I picked up on Amazon. I was very, like, as I said, with the Sasarai, I am getting very connected to Stasia Burrington's artwork. So this is just a cute little like playing card deck. So you could literally, it's 52 cards, so you can use it literally as just playing cards. But it's also an oracle, and they're cute cats because, as the name is called, it's the Curious Cat Club. So these are the backs, and again, so they have all the you know, the symbolism for just like a regular playing card deck, but they have these cute little cats in Stasia's art style. So this also looks really great with the Sasarai. Like, look at this little sumo cat. And this sumo cat, or not this sumo cat, this cat with like dumplings. It's just so good. So again, you can use this totally as just regular playing cards. Look at the lumberjack cat. It's so cute. It's so cute. Cat with all these mushrooms, with a rainbow. It's so good. So good. And the little tiny fold out gives you little keywords. So like, let's see, 10 of hearts. We've got this little cat stargazing. So you can go over here to the hearts. So the 10 of hearts, stargazer, keywords, wander, imagination, and curiosity. So it's just a really great, like, simple oracle that you can also doubly use as actual playing cards if you're playing cards with people. So really enjoyed that. This was like a cheapy little purchase on Amazon that I do not regret. So that's fun. Okay, let's put that back in. Okay, a few more. The next one I've shown in a few previous monthly edits. This is my Ocean Dreams Oracle. This is by Danielle Noel. So this was my journaling. I still continue to journal with this in the month of September because, for those of you who know, I live at the beach. I am a self-proclaimed beach witch. So here in New Jersey, September is what we call local summer. So I was still at the beach quite a bit in September. So I continued to use this deck before it really turned into fall. I'll admit, so I love Danielle Noel's artwork. I'm like a self-proclaimed fangirl of her work. But when I first got this deck, I was like, okay, like, it's beautiful, but I don't know, like, do I need it? You know, I have, you know, the other oracle decks with like Rebecca Campbell, Work Your Light, the Starseed Oracle. So I was like, do I need this? Like, the artwork feels similar. It's beautiful, but I will admit, like, when I first got it, I was like kind of unimpressed. And then I, you know, really chose to go deep. I really like this card. I chose to go deep with my work with this deck, and I would just pull one card and do my journal practice. And doing that and using the guidebook was a game changer. It's really deep and emotive, you know, just like the ocean, and it gave me this much deeper appreciation for the depth of wisdom this deck has. So that was a game changer for me. So now I'm totally impressed. Really loving this deck. Will absolutely keep it. You know, there are more shadowy cards too. It's not all love and light. And it's just really beautiful. It feels really beautiful. It feels really restorative. Just as water is to me. So I think that's why it feels really special. So yeah, I worked with this daily in the month of September. for my daily journal prompts. And, you know, now that it's October, I am putting it away, you know, probably for a couple months. I have some other oracle decks I want to work with during the darker months of the year. But so I will, you know, probably be picking this up back in the new year. But really, really loving this so much. Being able to go deeper with it is what gave me more of an appreciation. Okay, so 2 more decks left for my September edit. Let me just take a sip of my tea. Oh, that tea is so good. Okay, so the last 2 decks I have are both in this bag. And that is my Future Ancestors Tarot. And then I have another deck in this tiny little pouch, which I'll show. I was using these 2 together, and I will show you why. So the Future Ancestors I love so much. And I think that's why some of my decks for September got neglected, because I was working with a handful of decks that I'm just loving so much. So these are the beautiful backs. This is linen cardstock, but this one, because it's regular tarot size, doesn't get away from me. So I love shuffling this. So this is created by Lexa Luna Studio, and she is also Filipino, which I am as well. So I love how it's a Filipino creator. And she created this deck to help deal with grief that she was experiencing in her own life with her family. And you can really tell, I mean, that's why it's called Future Ancestors. It's really great for ancestor work, family work. So I've been doing a lot of that, dealing with like my own family stuff. So this deck feels very, very gentle and also a truth teller, but you know, unlike maybe the Sasaribito, which is a little more assertive, this one is gentle. It feels like wise wisdom from, like, you know, a wise grandmother who, you know, knows more and wants to share that knowledge with you. It's, you know, it's met with a warm hug and a cup of tea. So I love this deck so much. It feels truthful, it feels honest, it feels ancestral, as the name suggests. I do love her art style too. Like, she included pieces of nature, like, you know, ferns and leaves. It's earthy, it feels rooted, very rooted. And yeah, it's so wonderful. So this is a deck I highly suggest if you're doing any type of family or ancestral work. It just feels extra special to me. Like I said, it's a Filipino creator, and you know, I am Filipino as well. So it feels extra rooted in ancestry for me. The little fold out guidebook too is wonderful, and it's only like, you know, very minimal. And I will say, I probably wouldn't have even looked at this. I would have just probably, you know, kept it in the box and read intuitively as I usually do. I have to thank Dawn Michelle over at Boho Tarot. I watched a walkthrough of hers, and she was raving about this itty bitty little piece of white paper. And I was like, okay, maybe I should take a look at it. And the meanings, like, there's literally, for most of the cards, it's like one sentence, but it's profound and it's beautiful. They feel poetic to me. It's this little white fold out is a win. Like, let's say 5 of Seeds. So that would be 5 of Pentacles. Let's just see what that says. Community care and self-care are at utmost importance right now. And that seems like such a simple message, but the way it's framed feels very gentle and loving, as if it was coming from like a wise elder. So I really, really, really enjoy this deck. Gosh, is this in the top 10 too? It might be. I really need to redo that video. I'm gonna put that on my list. I want to redo my top 10 decks ever. soon. So that is the Future Ancestors Tarot. And then along with this, this is a different creator. This is the Tanim or Tanim Oracle. I love the backs of these. So this is created by Cynthia, I'm so sorry if I mispronounce these, Cynthia Bazon Are and Chingay Labrador. So Chingay is from Practical Magic and Cynthia is Arnson at Arnson. So they are both Filipino creators as well, which is why the energies feel like they work well together, but they also are just beautiful together. But this is basically a Filipino botanical oracle deck. So this is Filipino Flora. So I love the black backs. It pairs really lovely with this, like they look beautiful together. So we just have like the florals, and we have the name and like the Latin name, I think. We have the Tagalog word here, which unfortunately I can't read. My mom can read it. And then we have the English keywords. So subdue, stir, expose, shine, fluctuate. And I just think this feels like a very slow deck. It feels intentional. It feels rooted in truth. So together, these two were like a power combo in my opinion. And again, it feels extra special to me personally because these are both Filipino deck creators and artists, and that feels very rooted in my history, in my own ancestry and heritage. So this, again, this feels very earthy. This feels so truth-telling, but also very nourishing, very grounded. You know, I've been kind of going through some family stuff lately, so these two decks together have been wonderful in providing guidance and messages that I need. So these two, oh my gosh, so good. So good. And I don't see this deck much on social media, which kind of makes it feel a little more special because it's not like, I don't know, it's kind of like undiscovered, but like I kind of wish more people knew about it. It's so good. So this is the Tanim or Tanim, a Filipino botanical oracle deck, and it says wander through Filipino flora and find yourself along the way, which is so beautiful. Plant seeds of self-awareness as you root yourself in nature. So good. So good. So this did not come with a box. It just kind of came in like this little kind of burlap pouch. So I kind of keep that in here. I put my future ancestors in this cute little black and white bag to kind of match. And I really like these together. So I'm kind of just, they're kind of a pair now. So that is my reviews of all the decks I have worked with in September. So let's kind of put these all out. I'd love to know what you think of some of these decks. Do you have some? Are they on your wish list? Are these not your thing? Let me know down below all your thoughts. Let's see, let's put these all in here. Yeah, let me know down below what you think of the September tarot edit, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.